So previously, when we've talked about exponents, we've had some sort of base raised to some sort of power. So 7 squared, which we learned meant that we have 2 7s being multiplied together. Well, we have lots of different numbers besides an integer value like 2. We have rational numbers as well. Well, what would an example of a rational number be? Well, some of you might remember, it could be something like 1/2. Well, let's try to use our same definition here. What does that mean? That we have 1/2 7s multiplied together? Say what? What does that even mean? What it ends up meaning is, and again, we're not going to get into too many details with this particular case, but saying that we have 2 7s is saying that we have more than a 7. Okay? We're increasing the number of 7s. So it would make sense that if we have half for our exponent, that means we're going to have less 7s. We're going to decrease the number of 7s. Well, if we think about decreasing with multiplication, hopefully your mind goes to square roots. So if we have 7 to the 1/2 power, what that's really saying is the square root of 7. And we don't normally write it there, but there's actually a little 2 right here, because this is saying what number times itself twice is 7. Well, let's look at a couple other examples. If we have 7 to the 1/3 power, then that's just the third or cube root of 7. So we keep most of this same phrasing, except now it's 3 times. Same thing for the 4th root. What number times itself 4 times equals 7? Well, what does this mean? All this really means is that if we have a rational exponent, for example, I have 8 to the 1/3 power, most of us are more comfortable looking at that in its radical form or as a root. And we can write it either way we want. So what does all of this mean? Well, the exponential form is usually easier for simplification. And the radical form is usually easier for computation. And as I've been mentioning before, we want to pick the right tool for the right job. So we'll be toggling between these two depending on which one is easier for the particular problem that we're working on.